The story of Spur starts with people who were in love in 1996. Because some of them went on to have babies in 1997, and those babies just became the latest data point in our 6-year graduation rates. If the baby was born in Colorado, she had a 1 in 3 chance of graduating college, a 1 in 4 chance of attending college, and a 43% chance of not going. The vast majority of this group not being qualified to have the option of attending college. And since this baby happens to be a baby of color, her odds of graduating are cut in half, her odds of not being qualified to go to college go almost to 2 in 3. That should shame all of us. And yet, those of us in higher education have done a wonderful job of washing our hands of this issue, clucking our tongues over a K-12 problem, turning to our community college colleagues as the access portal, and going on about our business, even though there are well-publicized examples of how universities reached into communities and moved the needle on college attendance. And a large number of that 43% would have been first-generation students. And the data are so clear on first-gen families. Somewhere around junior high, their parents start to accept the dominant and damaging narrative in play around American higher education. Too costly, run up big debt. Our polling in Colorado tells us that people think college costs double what it does, and that debt levels are believed to be 4 times higher than they are. Against this backdrop, where's the incentive to be college eligible? So we decided to try and disrupt that cycle. How our Spur campus came to be located in one of the largest urban redevelopment projects in the nation is a long and complicated story. But at the end of the day, the state chipped in $250 million to build 3 buildings dedicated to the great global challenges of food, water, and health. And our board invests about $15 million annually in the programming. In one sense, it's a typical university, in that discovery happens, learning occurs, and application is practiced. But it's all done on stage, and for a K-12 audience. Labs and surgery suites have glass walls, and the scientists and surgeons are mic'd for interaction, and everywhere you turn there are huge wow factor exhibits, designed with K-12 educators to integrate with their curricula and to add real value. We want every K-12 student in Colorado to come through these buildings every year they're in school. We want them to be motivated by these great global challenges. We want them to see people like them working in careers that they didn't even know existed. We want them to go home so excited they simply cannot shut up at dinner, and to show up at school the next day with a newfound motivation. And we want to relentlessly drive home the message that there is an affordable pathway to college for everyone. Low-income students haven't paid tuition or fees at CSU in over 12 years. Most major universities do that sort of thing. And yet we have failed utterly and nearly completely to get that word out in a way where it competes with the narrative around cost and debt. But what if a first-gen student, and their teachers, and their counselors, and their parents heard every year that there was a pathway to college? What if the motivational experiences and role models at Spur led them into summer camp experiences on our campuses so that universities didn't seem like such a foreign thing? What if we partnered with organizations like College Track to wrap them in a supporting embrace until they cross our stages as graduates? If we did these things, could we move the needle on college attendance and success? Of course we could. But this is a long experiment. It'll be a quarter century until the first cohort of kids who grew up embedded with Spur turn in their 6-year graduation rate data. I'll be dead. Most of the legislators who funded these buildings and our board members who backed us in this experiment will be dead. Sure, we'll measure leading indicators along the way, but this experiment requires a long-term commitment. And it depends on building community trust. It means being a reliable community member within an anchor institution framework. And that means after 5 and on weekends, because if we just drive through these communities to our parking lots, we don't build the trust that we need to be seen as a trusted partner by these children and their parents. So what if you don't have $250 million in a major urban redevelopment project to work with? Now that we've started to think differently, I'd tell you that we see all sorts of possibilities. Providing programming to rural communities, rotating demos that could go into schools, repurposing older buildings. In fact, so long as the K-12 integration, motivation, role model, opportunity, and message components are in place, the setting is really just a vehicle for a ride we believe is well worth taking. Thank you.